Hey folks, Flash here. Boy, did I have a crazy night last night at work. I have to share it with somebody, so I'm doing this. I'm a railroader. I work for Norfolk Southern. I work out of Harrisburg, and I go down to Baltimore on the Port Road, to Delaware on the Port Road, and back. Now, before I get into this, I got to make a disclaimer. My company requires it. My opinions and views are not the opinions and views of Norfolk Southern, its management, its stakeholders, shareholders. I personally feel that Norfolk Southern is a great company. They've given me wonderful opportunity. Our management team is wonderful. The people I work with are amazing. And the people down in Atlanta, top notch. Now, if they don't think that, those are not their opinions. That is my opinion that they're a great company. So, my opinions, not their opinions. Well, anyway, I was coming back from Baltimore last night and I just had the weirdest chain of events happen and I still don't quite understand it at all. We come out of the hotel and the jitney comes to get us. I'm a conductor, I'm not an engineer. And we get in the jitney. Les is our driver, great guy, one of the top jitney drivers. And we headed into Baltimore, down to Bayview Yard to go get our train. Stop at Wawa. We always stop at Wawa. Fill up my coffee, get anything I need if I need some extra snacks for the road. And then we go to Bayview Yard, go to the office, get our paperwork. Train master comes in. We have a good briefing. It's a single empty hopper coal. No coal in it. Hopper's going back up to the mine. Easy peasy. Down on E3 and Console. That's the big coal docks down there. If you've ever been through the Baltimore Tunnel there and seen the big piles of coal and the big machines, that's we bring trains of coal in there and then we take the empties out back up to the mines. Well, easy peasy. Talk to the yard master. Go down to E3. You have an L side and an E side. The L is the loads. The E's are the empties. Go down to E3. On our way down there, Les is driving us down. All of a sudden, we get a green light. I can hear a siren in the distance. And Les starts to move forward. And then all of a sudden, the car in front of him stops. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, guys. And we're caught in this intersection. We have a green light, but this siren sounds like it's getting closer. And I look up, and there's like a black Charger coming towards us. Like, I'm on the passenger side, and so the car's coming right at me. And there's a bunch of police officers. There's police cars, Baltimore police, and it looks like there's black SUVs in pursuit as well. And I'm thinking this guy's gonna T-bone us. I'm going to my judgment. And at the last minute, Les says, "Hold on," and he swerves from the car in front of us. At the last minute, it looked like this guy was going to hit us, and he pulls forward. At the same time, the Charger goes to the left, and we just miss each other. I can see the guy's face. It is the weirdest dude I have ever seen in my life. He's got tattoos on his face. He almost looks like a jungle cat, like a jaguar or something. And we lock eyes as he's turning the steering wheel away from us. We lock eyes and see each other just for that fraction of a second. And it's like, I see you. And he's like, I see you. I'm like, that's weird. And we move forward. He misses us. And like 5 police cars and black SUVs are in pursuit of this guy. I've never had anything like this happen to me on the railroad before. Anyway, we are thankful that we're alive. We thank Les for doing that move because I sure was going to be a goner, if he hadn't. And we go down to the empty side. We get on our train. Lo and behold, I check the air card. Air card's all good. The marker's been armed, tested. It's the right marker. Check with the engineer. And we're ready to go. I look up. our switches are all lined. I don't know if a local crew came through like power or something and threw all the switches back. Usually I have to walk up about a quarter mile to get switches. But today is the easiest day in the world. It's all lined up. And we call to go out, and Lancaster Yardmaster, they're the ones that oversee Edgemoor, Baltimore, and Lancaster. They have a heavy load of work there. They say stand by and lock the engines. So we stand by, we're not moving. Something's weird here. So I call Lancaster. I turn my phone on. We have a briefing. I turn my phone on. There's FRA rules about phones and how you can use them. This is proper use. And I say, what's up? Why do we have to lock the engine? He said, apparently there's an intruder in console right now near you guys. And they said, stand by. They don't want you moving yet. It's like a half hour goes by. Then Lancaster calls back. They say, you guys are good to go. Everything's safe. Don't worry. Okay, that's fine. We're all lined up, ready to go. We pull up the President Street branch, call Lancaster again. Are we good to call out? Call out to Amtrak, because to get from Baltimore up on the Port Road, we got to run the Northeast Corridor. So CTEC 2 is who controls Amtrak down there. So I call out to CTEC, tell them, hey, we're coming off the branch at Bay, looking to go north to Perry, 5,500 feet, empty hoppers, no restrictions. No problem. They light us right up. I call back to Lancaster, say, hey, we got the light. Have a good night. Easy peasy. So we're going up Northeast Corridor. We're running up A track, so you got to go slow on that. It's a new track. They just redid it all. Amtrak's been doing a lot of work. It's pretty neat to see. And they hold us at Gunpowder, right by the Gunpowder River there. We're there about an hour or so. And I go out to stretch my legs on the nose, and the front door's open. And it's like a ship's door, like one of those watertight doors. When you seal it, it's a 400-pound door. It's light on the hinge, but it's heavy. And when you pull the handle down, it ain't going nowhere. And I'm thinking, how is this door open? I was like, did I think my switches weren't lined and maybe left the door open, thinking I would go back out to get the switches? And I don't remember doing that. Anyway, go back inside. I stretch my legs a little bit and go back inside. About an hour later, CTEC runs us. All of a sudden, in a locomotive, you have the outer door and the inner door. And we're in 1,000 unit. If there's any rail fans out there, you'll know more about 1,000 unit than I probably do. But they have good dynamic brake, good power, and they're built solidly. I call them the Cadillac because the doors are so heavy and everything's big and heavy there. Anyway, the inner door, which is metal, it's a strong door with a good latch, just pops open. I say, that's pretty weird to my engineer. He's like, yeah, that doesn't usually happen. Maybe something's wrong with the latch or anything. I go down and close it, make a joke. Oh, maybe we have some of those shadow people or skinwalkers, that everybody talks about. And he's like, oh, maybe so, Anyway, we go down the road a little more. Door pops open again. We're starting to think this is a little strange. He's like, well, maybe when we twist the metal in the engine and it just opens the door. I was like, Lyle, if we stop again, you check this door because this is one of the most solid inner doors I've ever seen. Well, pops open again. I keep going down and closing it. This happens like 5 more times. We stop, and we have to stop up at Grace, which is right before you come up on the Port Road up at Perryville, Maryland. There was a couple loads coming out, and then there was a 37A that needed to get out, come in, and a 36A that needed to go out. So we wait for about another hour. And we hear like a bang, bang. I'm like, what is that? Nobody's out here. The inner door pops open again. I close. I'm like, Lyle, you check this door. You tell me that's not a solid door. How is this thing just opening? And Lyle goes down and he says, stop now. It doesn't make any sense. I thought maybe as the train was moving, maybe the frame around the door would bend or something and the door would open. I said, maybe, but we're stopped. He's like, I don't know. We'll just call it a ghost. I was like, maybe we have a demon on board. And we're laughing and everything. And we get lit up. We come up on Port Road and dispatcher calls us. They want to know what time we departed, how much fuel we have left and everything. And they let us know we're going to be stopping at McCall's, which is right past the Holtwood Dam, if you know the Susquehanna River at all. That's fine. It's about an hour up or so. We're taking it nice and easy. We're in automatic. Trip Optimizer now is running the train. Nothing happens for about 20 minutes. Then we hear this bam, bam, bam. And the door pops open. I'm like, dude, this is so freaking weird, man. And Lila's like, yeah, it's really strange. That's a solid door. I go down and I close it. As soon as I get up, it opens right up again. This keeps happening for the next 40 minutes. Well, we come in. At Midway. We take the siding, and we're going to come up to McCall's to wait for a couple trains to go by. We get through Holtwood, which is interlocking there, and we have our little briefing about where we're going to stop the train. And we said, we're going to stop by the red dots. Kennedy put them up years ago. And it's about 638 feet from the signal. So you have plenty of time to stop. And that's basically where we all stopped there. So we stopped there, and I said, I'm going to go check this door out and go stretch my legs outside. And I go down there. I open the door. Meanwhile, I've been closing this door constantly. When I go in the nose between the inner door and the outer door, it is like freezing. Like I've walked into a walk-in freezer in a restaurant or something. I can see my breath. Meanwhile, it's like 58 degrees out. I've never seen my breath at 58 degrees. I go out. It's normal. We're in the middle of nowhere, but it's a nice 58-degree night, fall night. So I'm like, that's really weird. I walk back in, and it's freezing again. I'm getting the creeps a little bit, but I'm thinking maybe we had the air conditioning on or something, I don't know. Well, I'm on the nose. I come in, close all the doors. Train comes up. We have a process. We call it a GR9, where we inspect a train. I think it's also known, the new one is OB40. And we get down, and I'm supposed to go on one side of the track to inspect the oncoming train. And my engineer is down on the ground looking at the other side of the train. This place is not safe to be on the other side, so we're both going to do it from where our train is, but down on the ground and do a proper GR9. When I come down, the inner door is closed, but the outer door is open, and I know I closed that outer door. He's like, did you leave that open? I said, no, Lyle, I didn't leave it open. I closed it. I don't know what's going on with these doors, man. And he noticed how cold it was in the nose. He said, something's not right there. I could see his breath as he's saying this. He's like, I'm getting like this chilly feeling, and it's freezing right there between the two doors. Anyway, we get down on the ground. We do our GR9. We notice when we come back up, it's not quite as cold in the nose. And then for the rest of the time we're sitting there, nothing happens. 2 more trains pass. We get down. We inspect them. Everything's safe. Everything's fine. Then we get going. I make sure the doors are closed. We're laughing about this, and we're really joking that, wow, maybe this is a skinwalker, or, sometimes people on the railroad talk about shadow people that'll come on trains and stuff. I probably think they're more like hobos that are all dressed in dark colors or something, but very rarely has anybody ever gotten on an engine or anything. Anyway, as we start to go, and almost immediately, bang, 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 the door pops open. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. It's getting frustrating at this point. I go down and I slam the door, make sure it's really, really shut. Keeps happening again and again. All of a sudden, we get a call on the radio, and it's like the call you never want to hear. It's road foreman Atlanta. Usually, if he calls, it means somebody's done something wrong and we're in trouble or we're being instructed to run the train in a different way. Road foreman Atlanta calls, and I answer the radio because as a conductor, that's my job on the radio, and I answer our train symbol, and I ask him, is everything okay? Or are we doing something wrong? He said, no, you guys are following all the procedures. I just wanted to make sure you're okay. I'm thinking, yeah, of course we're okay. It's been, other than this door, it's been the easiest trip ever. Say, yes, sir, we're okay. He says, are you safe? Of course we're safe. I mean, how could we not be safe? We're in a 460,000 pound engine. Like, we're safer than that, you know? And he says, okay. He leaves, he's off the radio, and we keep going, and bang, 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 the door flies open. It's getting so, I'm like, dude, this is Shadow Person, Skinwalker, whatever. Wraith, Demon, I don't care. I just wish it'd stop closing the door. And I close the door. And then a couple miles later, we're coming down into Cress. The dispatcher calls and says, I want you to stop short of Cress, right by where the old low grade is. We never stop here. It's really weird. We're like, you're sure you want us to stop there? That's not a good recruit place. I said, you're not being recruited. We need you to stop short of Cress, right by where the old low grade goes up. Okay, we can do that. We have our briefing, we come up, we stop. All of a sudden, there's train masters there. There's our local road foreman, the top guy, and he's a great guy, but I'm thinking, what did we do wrong? Am I going to be out of service? Do I still have a job? And then there's NS police there. And then there's these guys, they're like police officers, like in a black SUV. I'm thinking, this is really weird. And the road foreman comes up with the train master and NS police, and they say, are you guys all right? We say, of course we're all right. Are we in trouble? They said, no, you're not in trouble, but we think you have a passenger. I said, we don't have a passenger. It's just Lyle and us here. We've never had a passenger. Sometimes we'll pick up a crew that's gone overboard, like outlawed. That means you're out of time. But there's nobody that's been on this train. Are you sure? I said, yeah, nobody's been here. And then the road foreman takes me aside, and we have a briefing with my engineer, and he says, the conductor's going to get down on the ground, and we're going to bring the train forward and meet you up at Lace Mill, but the police officers need to inspect the train. Now it makes sense to me. They think maybe somebody's riding in one of the hoppers, and if they're on the low grade goes up to a big bridge, but you can look down in the hoppers. Okay. And the NS policeman says, you can tell me if there's somebody on this train. Has there been somebody on this locomotive that they threatened you? No, nobody has threatened us or been on this locomotive. Absolutely nothing bad has happened this trip. And they said, okay. And he looked at us and said, you're safe now. Safe from what? Anyway, I get down on the ground and pull him ahead. There's 106 cars in this consist, and we're bringing him ahead slow. He's going about 5 miles an hour, and the cops looking in with their lights, and They have like not just their regular like 9 millimeters or whatever. They have like things that look like ARs with them, and it's really weird. They don't see anything, so we're okay to proceed. Road foreman and the trainmaster give me a ride up to the head end. I jump on the head end. They say, proceed to Harrisburg. Signal indication. Talk to the dispatcher. Fine. I said, you're sure we haven't done anything wrong? They said, no, we've been watching your tapes. You guys are actually doing a really good job. We're happy you're implementing all the safety measures we've been putting in. So I tell Lyle, this is really weird, man. He agrees. We've never had a trip like this. So we get going, and right past Crest, you go from the Port Deposit line, the PD line, to the Enola Port Road, the EP line. So we get up on the EP line, and here we go again. Bam, bam, bam. And every 5 minutes, I'm hearing this bam, bam, bam. I say to Lyle, it sounds like somebody is trying to get inside the engine. He's like, I agree with you. It does. And the door flies open. I get the chills. I look down, like, there's nobody there. I shut it. We go up a little more, and this is happening all the time. All of a sudden, we are coming up to Shucks, which is where you can either continue to the left over the bridge, and it'll take you on the south side of the river, or you can veer off to the Roy Branch and go to Harrisburg. One will take you to Nola, the other will take you to Harrisburg. And so we come up on the Roy Branch, we slow down, it's a 25-mile-an-hour interlocking. And as we go through the interlocking, the front door flies open, and then the back door flies open. The back door behind the engineer is even more secure than the front door. It has a lock you can lock from the inside. The inner door also has that. We used that down in Baltimore when they told us to lock ourselves in. It's not supposed to fly open. Now, Lyle's like, I have never seen anything like this. I'm like, it's really strange. I haven't either. I'm kind of getting the creeps. I don't believe in all that. I know we joke around and people have seen stuff out here. There's a lot of weird stuff that happens on the railroad, but usually we think it's because we're in the middle of nowhere by ourselves in the middle of the night, walking a train or something. You can see something crazy. But when doors are opening and closing, this isn't normal, especially the back door of a locomotive. Again, it's a really heavy, secure door, just like the front door. So I go and I close the door, and I go down to close the head end. I check to make sure the outer door is closed as well, and it is, so everything seems safe, and I'm not feeling that chilly, really cold feeling anymore. I come up and I don't know what happened. I mean, maybe I swallowed spit or something the wrong way, but I start choking. And it's really weird. Like, I thought, like, it felt like somebody was trying to strangle me. Like, in my mind, I know I'm choking, but I can't catch my breath, and it's like I can't breathe, and it's like my neck is being pressed down. And I'm like, I'm choking. And all of a sudden, I'm able to clear my throat. I was like, that's weird. I must have swallowed spit the wrong way or something. He's like, it was really strange. The way you were moving, it was like somebody was pushing you and pulling you. I was like, nah, I was just choking. I think I just swallowed spit the wrong way. We think, okay. Bam, 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 door flies open, the front door. I am sick of this shadow person or this wraith or this skip, whatever it is. I've just had it. I slam the door shut. All of a sudden, I come back up, sit down in my seat. I look over at Lyle, and all of a sudden, his head goes and hits the console, the control stand. I'm like, what the heck happened? Are you okay? He said, yeah, I'm fine. I just must have had some slack roll in. No, Lyle, you're a smooth engineer. You ain't never had slack roll in. There was no slack. He's like, well, how did I get my face, hit into the control stand? I said, I don't know. It's smooth. It's been a smooth trip. Even with Trip Optimize, there hasn't even been a little kiss of slack coming in. And I look, and he looks okay. He's shaken up, but nothing's bleeding or anything. He might have some bruising the next day. And I said, "Are you okay?" He says, "Yeah, but you're sure slack didn't come in?" Or I said, "There's no grade here. Like how would slack?" It's like, I don't know. It's like no slack came in. You're a really smooth engineer. You don't have slack. You're not one of those guys. He said, "That's weird." He said, "It felt like somebody grabbed me and like pushed me into the control stand." I said, "I don't know. That's very strange." Well, we keep going up the Roy branch. We come into the Roy interlocking. That's actually controlled by Amtrak too, because you have the PH line, the Philadelphia Harrisburg line that runs right beside this one interlocking. They control. We're all lit up. Bam, bam, bam. You gotta be kidding me. And this bam, bam, bam just keeps going on. The door flies open again. I'm done with it. I'm ready for this trip to be over. I almost got killed in Baltimore. And now I don't know what's happening with this engine. So we get in, we come into Paxton. There's a stop signal. We stop. Bam, bam, bam. Front door flies open. Back door flies open. I go to shut them. And when I get down into the front door, I'm trying to shut it and I can't shut it. It's almost like the hinge is frozen up or something. And I'm pushing with all my might. I'm a big guy. I weigh 230 pounds. Like I should be able to close this door and I'm not. It's like almost like I'm wrestling it. And I get the door shut finally. I'm like, this is so strange. As I turn around, the door hits me in my ass. I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me, man. And I slam that door. Terminal dispatcher comes on and says, signal indication up to the pad for a recrew. When you guys recrew, please drive over to Enola. There's some train masters that want to talk to you. I'm like, oh God, we did something. We're in so much trouble. And Lyle's like, I don't know what we could have done. Anyway, we pull up to the pad. There's no more bam, bam, bam. The doors don't do anything weird or anything. And we get on, and the guys from Altoona hop on, and they say, is everything okay? And I didn't want to scare these guys. So we're like, yeah, it was a smooth trip, nothing wrong, have at it, And we get in our cars, we go over to Nola, half thinking we're going to be out of service or fired or something for what we don't know. And our terminal superintendent is there. Now, this is a big wig. You have the terminal superintendent. He oversees everything of Enola, Harrisburg. He's there. And he says, gentlemen, just 1 second. We got to go to the next office. Now I'm freaking out because the office next to his is the division superintendent. This is a guy you don't ever want to meet. You don't want him to know you exist. If you ever see him, yes, sir, no, sir. And, this is the guy that holds all the power for the whole Keystone Division. And we have to go into his office. Oh, Lyle and I look at each other, and I know we're both thinking, like, we're in so much trouble. I don't know. We tried to follow every rule the best we could. And they say, gentlemen, have a seat. I sit down. I said, sir, are we in trouble? Do I need to call my union rep or anything? He said, no, you guys did a really good job. I said, sometimes some strange things happen on the railroad. The people at Console found a dead body in the pile of coal. When you guys were locked down and told not to go anywhere, the police were chasing a fugitive and he ran up the pile of coal and just disappeared. Now, coal's a weird monster. You can have a pile of coal. You never want to walk on a pile of coal because it can get air gaps in the middle of it. The methane gas can build up and you have a pocket of air. And even sometimes the big bulldozers, they have oxygen tanks on them because the big bulldozers that go up these piles and move all the coal can fall into a pocket and there's enough oxygen in there to keep the guy alive until the other bulldozers can come and take him out. So apparently this fugitive died in the pile of coal. And I said, well, that's I'm glad they got him. I'm sorry he died, but what a horrible way to go. But what does this have to do with us? And the division superintendent and our terminal superintendent said, come around our desk. And we don't usually do this, but we're going to show you the cameras of the trip. The guy with the Jaguar face is going in and out of our engine all night. At one point, they fast forward and showed that the guy was choking me, actually, and there was nobody there. And then they show when Lyle's face got in, this guy got Lyle's face and put it into the control stand. And they said, that's why we were asking you if there was somebody on your train. We thought he had hijacked and maybe he had scared you guys and threatened your life. And maybe that's why you weren't telling the policeman and the road foreman that there was somebody on the train. I said, no, he wasn't there. He says, yeah, it makes perfect sense. Baltimore PD sent a picture of the guy. It's the guy with the Jaguar face, all the tattoos on his face, dead. And you can see him walking through our train. He's like, gentlemen, this company's been here since 1830. We started as a canal company. We were one of the earliest railroads to have an engine and service down in Charleston, South Carolina. He said, we've seen a lot of strange things. We don't talk about it. But, gentlemen, what happened to you tonight was one of the strangest things in the world. And I'm just blown away by all this. And I still don't know what to think. I love the railroad, but man, I don't even believe in ghosts. But the camera doesn't lie. So this is all flash with that story. I thought you'd enjoy hearing what happened to me last night. And again, this is no opinions of Norfolk Southern or the management, and they'd probably deny it if you asked them anyway, but that's a true tale from the rails. So, Flash signing out.